Okay, let's start inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and may the best of peace and blessings be on our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the prophets and messengers of Allah. So the discussion, the topic or the title for discussion tonight is this ayah or couple of ayat from Surah Al-Ankabut. I'm trying to get to the number. Did you get it? The number is there. مثل الذين اتخذوا من دون الله أولياء, the example of those who are taken protectors. We talk a little bit about a wali, somebody who, kind of protector, somebody that you rely on. So the example for those who take protectors besides Allah is just like the example of the كمثل العنكبوت. In Arabic, al-ankabut, which is the spider, اتخذت بيتا, that it's trying to take a house. وَإِنَّ أَوْهَنَ الْبُيُوتِ لَبَيْتُ الْعَنْكَبُوتِ, but indeed the weakest of all houses is the house of al-ankabut, of the spider. لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ, if only they know what this example refers to. So, the point, as I explained, is we will try to draw the comparison. Obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about humans who count on things just like me and you count on the house to protect us. A house would protect us, would be a shelter for us. We'll have a roof. So if you are inside the house, you are protected from the rain if it's raining outside. It's going to be colder, if it's hot, it protects you against any factors, any weather elements or factors out there. But what's happening with the spider is it is اتخذت بيتا, it's taken a house that it doesn't fulfill any of these things that the house should fulfill for you or should give you. Just try to imagine a spider on the net. And the problem is it's taken it as a house. If it's taken it just as a tool to catch the prey, no problem. It works perfect. But it's taken it as a house. So it's different from the hole. Some animals would take a hole in the ground, would have some kind of a nest somehow. That works. But for an animal or for somebody to take shelter in that, doesn't protect anything. Wind doesn't protect against the wind. The rain doesn't protect against the rain. It does not give you anything. So this is the example of somebody who's taking allies, protectors, things to rely on besides Allah. It's like those in the past, at that time, people used to worship stones, statues. They worship them. Think about it. We know that. But think about it. This stone is my God. Like I go to, I give, I pray to, I ask of that stone because it's craved certain how. And this is an example of deviation in faith. But it's not going to be always people worshiping stones. It's going to be people counting what is worship. You count on them. You're waiting for them, yes, to help you. So somebody could be, if the same relationship is between a human being and money, for example, then money is a tool. It's a tool to get you food to eat, to give you some, essential things in life, and even some extra things. But it's not there to fight others and kill others for. It's just a tool. People were living before they invented money. There were other ways to bargain and trade things. Life would not be possible without air, without water, without food. Those are things. Would be impossible without love, for example, without passion, without family. But without money, it's just a tool. It's just a piece of paper that when you go to this country, it's always dead presidents, they call it, right? So it will have the photo of that president. But in a different country, it's completely different banknote that's funny in some countries. But when we count on money, just as an example, when we count so much in money that when you lose your money, or when, it's not to say that it's nothing, it's worth nothing. No, but it's not, we're not supposed to go to either one of the extremes. It's not that doesn't worth anything, but at the same time, it shouldn't be the goal for life. That some people work day and night at the expense of their health, or their families or their deen, their religion, to collect money. And the nice kind of saying in there that people work too much to save money, and in this process they lose their health and time, precious time with family. And when they gain the money, they spend so much money to try to regain the health and get some good times with other people. But at this time, probably you will not have that many family members that you invested some good time with. So floor is open. What could be those things if we want to look at life for what it is? Because Allah talk about this example a lot. Like he's talking about this belief. He said, وَمَا يُغْنِي عَنْ, it will not avail them anything. Abu Lahab, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, he loved him so much. When he received the news when Muhammad ﷺ was born, he was so happy, and he kept giving gifts to everybody around him and freeing some of the slaves. This so happy. But then when the Prophet ﷺ grew up and he invited him to Islam, he just came to know about that. He said, if what my nephew is saying is right, I have a lot of money and I have a lot of children. I would just, they will be enough to free me from whatever wrath of his God I'm gonna give. That's how he thinks. That's why Allah revealed, ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب. His money, his children, they're not gonna benefit him. He counts on those. On that day, not gonna benefit him. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim, when he's in the beautiful story when he was having this dialogue with his people, and he said, I worship God only, the one who gives me food when I'm sick, he's the only one that can give me cure. This, and then he said at the end, and I'm looking for the reward in the day of judgment, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ, the day that no money or children will benefit you. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, except those who go back to Allah with pure, sound heart. Pure, sound heart is a heart that has a person who counts on good things. He relies on what? On Allah. He depends on Allah. No matter how much money or less money, how much this or everybody looks a certain way, he looks in a different way. Question: what is it in life that we could be counting on and not wasting, investing a lot of time to get? When we leave this life, for example, is it really what we're going to be questioned about? Is this or that, or we wasted some time here or there?
I always spend time with the connection because you could stay all day with the fancy food and the government, the mindfulness, they put the channel and they see those fancy way of decorating and spending time on something you're gonna eat. And here you are, you can sit down, be with your family, read Quran, discuss something that will benefit you for the time after. And here it is, it's just like wasting your time. So that is, I really think like the cooking show, I can stand I think this is wasting time, money.
But that's I think of it as one dimension of wasting. We're just wasting some. But what we are talking about in here, what you're saying is related. But what I'm talking about is somebody's core value in life. One of the essentials of life is fake. Is like a spider taking a house that's supposed to protect you and give you a shelter, but it's not really a house. You see? So what you're talking about is waste, and the concept of waste.
I mean, it's a bit it goes on. I can see it like this occasion. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, to spend time and dedication for this time this is, I mean, and that's why we have so many people are fat, and it's just like when they're sick and then it's what they're thinking, oh, we're eating good. It's the same thing, it's just like you would have seen your time, you would have seen the food, and so this is something not stable.
Let me throw something else your way. Same concept. How much money do we take? Obviously, beautifying the food or doing this as a hobby or something, Religiously, there's nothing bad about it. I mean, we like to have everything nice, food nice, but taking anything to the extreme. But again, we're talking about shifting the concepts. How much money? I really don't mean to talk to sisters. I mean, it could be brothers too. Anybody, human beings, they take to, or they money they invest, time they invest to take care of the external dimension, which is important. How much do you look, how body, which is very essential and important, everything. Versus, but the point is, versus how much time do you invest and take, or money that you spend to invest inside, like my qualities. Because usually everybody tends to think of himself or herself as the standard. I am the best, I'm the standard. Every single person has this quality of Pharaoh, who said at certain point, I am your Lord, I am your God, worship me. But we probably didn't get the chance to show it somehow, for any reason. Everybody has the seed for arrogance, like Iblis, like Satan, the devil. Everybody has that, but you either give it chance to grow or you suppress it and grow other good things. Like think of it as lawn. You can give chance for the weed to grow and take over the nice grass, or you can invest in removing this weed and weed out the things and keep the grass and the good things to grow. So this is another thing that I believe not that many people invest in their, they like to go to school and learn something new and invest in their mind and intellect and heart and building up the relationship with people in life, especially family members and close people, versus how much do you spend on your external, how do I look, my beauty, or just me on myself. That is something that is one of the concepts that needs to be shifted or be shifted towards what's good. And that's why the Prophet said, إنما ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرض. Richness, everybody think of richness. How much do I get? I get a lot of this, a lot of that. ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. But the true richness is the richness of your soul, your nafs. How much is your nafs or soul rich? How much love that you carry there? How much care that you have there for others? How much karam, generosity, and all of these qualities that we need to invest. And many of these qualities, if not all of them, they are acquired, meaning that you could, yes, everybody is born with certain amount of maybe you're born with more wisdom than I am, or with more patience than I am. But all of these qualities, they are open for upgrade. You can work on your patience. There's nothing in the world that this is me, and I lose my temper. There's nothing. I'm always shy. I'm always whatever it is. You can work on any of these qualities. You can make this shift in your life from bad to good. And guess what? You can even do the opposite. You can go from here to here, and you have the power to go from here and downgrade again. So what could be, we're trying to put our hands on, what could be those things that are kind of fake in our life that we could be depending on putting so much money, time, value to, when other things. When I was choosing this topic, yesterday we had a conversation with some older brothers, and they were talking about their generation. I usually love to sit with older people. They're talking when they were young, back in the 60s. That's like even before, way before I was born. So they are literally taking me back to that era that I just read about or hear about. And they're talking about things that's happening there. So they were talking about their peers and friends, and they're from here. So they were talking, how did they start this community? One of them, your father, that's why he was there. He said he came here 80, and he had to leave for a few years, bunch of years, and he didn't know that was a masjid even here. He didn't get to know any of the brothers. Then he came back, I think, in 1985, and then he came to know about. So what really triggered this in my mind is, oh my God, they are talking about 80 or 85. It's really not too long ago. You're talking about 30 years ago, 20 some years ago. But that generation, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give health and umr, age for everybody. who is still alive, but they're talking about so of their peers who were there. Somebody like Dr. Ahmed Al-Qadi, who was one of the cornerstones and founders of this place, he's gone. They're gone. Their term in life is gone. But now, oh my God, there is a masjid. How many people are praying here? For everybody who prays here, similar reward goes to those who founded this place. Isn't that a real investment? That's a real investment. So he is gone. He lived life. He got successes in life, and he was international figure, known to, was the counselor for some Saudi president, minister or something. He was here and there. He got his success in life as a physician, as a person, and he got also his setbacks and things. But what I'm thinking of is how many people will do like those few people who establish something that was for themselves as well and their families. They help get everybody together. And in a session that's occurring in 2016, few people, including like a relatively young person who doesn't see them like myself, he is hearing about what they did. They put together something, which is a project amongst the so many projects they did. It's benefiting others, their communities, and others, whoever could be coming in the future. And again, it's pouring rewards, account, sadaqa jariyah, like always open account for good deeds for them. So that is a real thing. At certain point, again, I would give myself what do you call it, open check or something to talk about somebody, the good things of somebody who passed away. I don't talk much about somebody who's still alive, they might like it, they might not like it, but somebody like Dr. Ahmed Al-Qadi, I haven't met him. He passed away like 15 years before I come to this community. But they are talking that he had at certain point to go home and sell all of his or many of his properties that inherited from his father just for this school not to fall, or for to build a masjid or something. At certain point is I can't do that. I mean, I'm a human being. I cannot give my personal investment. Allahu alam, Allah give me power. But personally, can I sell my house or my like something of my property for another project that I can help, but not to, huh? Yes. That's the point here. I guess he did that because he had this insight. He was counting, he was trying to take a house in something that's a real house, counting on something that yes, that's going to give me benefit. He's gone. His career is gone. His entire life is gone. But what's left behind is not how much of a doctor he was. Yes, they speak about how much of a good doctor and intelligent person he was, but even without anybody speaking, the masjid will. This halaqah of us right now talking good thing, whatever reward that we are getting now is. I mentioned one name, but I'm definitely sure that there were others who were helping in that direction. So these are, and the Prophet ﷺ, I don't want to keep talking. Please feel free to stop me, and if you have any point to sit forward, feel free. In the hadith, also the Prophet ﷺ said, when the child of Adam, human being, dies, three things will go after him, will accompany him to his grave. يتبعه ماله وأهله وعمله. His wealth, his family, people around him, and his actions. Wealth, it depends what kind of funeral you get, that reflects how much money you get. You're gonna get these fancy things, whatever. Reflection or symbolic thing of how rich you are, or how less rich you are. And his family, everybody, his friends and family and everybody, they will go with him. And his actions, deeds. Two things will go back and one thing should remain with him. His wealth is going to go, that's going to be inheritance for those who will inherit him. And then usually they will fight and they will take it. And then if they don't fight and they take it, they will leave it and it's going to go as the same house, the same car, or maybe something else that will be more sustainable than a car. Same thing will remain for the next generation. وَيَبْقَى عَمَلُهُ. And only his actions or deeds would remain with him in the grave. We know the hadith, if the person gets to the grave, only three questions. Who's your Lord? What's your religion? Who's your prophet? These are the three questions you get in the grave. First thing. And then if a person got a nice, good deeds, total of his deeds. In terms of what? We always tend to think of good deeds as somebody who's praying. Yes, prayer is a beautiful deed, Quran. But deeds, what Islam is teaching us, the life of our prophet. Was he only teaching Quran? No, he was helping his neighbor. He was nice to the young and the old and everybody. So that's his legacy. That's what, and all of that is obviously kept in the Quran. Something like the Quran teaches us the akhlaq and everything. So ويبقى and then if his action is good, a very good looking person, smelling the best, like an angel, think of an angel or something, will come. After all of that, you can imagine death is not easy. The person who dies, soul comes out. You'd be frightened. And then you lost your family. They are in a different dimension, literally different dimension. You don't know anything about them. They are crying for you, and the person also is he feels or she feels lost. I'm in a completely different stage of life that I don't know nothing about. At this point, you need anybody to be there, to talk to, or to give you that kind of moral support. And at this point, you see like an angel smiling to you, smelling the best, and entertaining you. And you ask, who are you? You look, that's the hadith. Who are you? You look beautiful and you smell the best. I have never. He said, you don't recognize me? أنا عملك. I am your action. Your actions, your deeds, they will come to you in a form of the best thing you could imagine, the best friend you could have to be sitting with you until the day of judgment, which is going to be for a good person just a short time. It's not going to be all of these years, and vice versa. The other person would see a kind of frightening figure, smelling the worst and really scary. And he said, who are you? You are the worst ever. He said, you don't recognize me? I am your action. So you're going to get what you deserve and what you did in this life. So again, the question, we really need to check at this point, and we keep always checking. It's not like one decision or one chance that we have. No, we have lifelong to keep checking on our values, principles. What do we think of? Is that really what matters in life? Does it matter? Maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to highlight, because five things could matter in your life, but one should matter the most. And one matters, but it shouldn't be here, it should be here. So we need to set priorities in life right. And usually to do that, we need to resort and turn to the Quran. When Allah said, Allah number one. Who is there to protect you but Him? Who is there to give you when you are in need but Him? Who is there to physician cannot give you cure. The best physician in the world can help you, can use their talent and everything to help you, but can they give you life if you're about to die? They can't. Or cure itself, they can't, because they provide the same medicine for 10 people. It might work for him, but it doesn't work for him. Because cure is, they don't give cure, they give medicine, or they help other treatment. So Allah gives you treatment, Allah gives you life, Allah protects you, Allah is the one who made us. It's not my mom or dad who made me, it's Allah who made us together and make us evolve and develop into that human being who can think and talk and have personality and friends and look at life from certain perspective and can even judge God now sometimes and things. That is number one. Then parents are there. That should be the number two right after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless of who they are, even if they are the worst. The right comes right after the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there. And we need to look at the Quran to set our priorities right. Does it really matter when people like pick on me? That's the end of life for, these groups and circles. Oh, you know what did she say? She said that. Somebody came to Al-Hasan al-Basri, one of the scholars, and we always quote him, and he said, I just came to know that you're talking about me, you were stabbing me from me. He said, well, I'll tell you something, to be honest with you. Your value in my sight is not that high that I open my record of good deeds for you. Because when you are talking about someone else, literally, you are opening your record of good deeds, hasanat, for them. Because when you talk about somebody, or when you violate the honor of somebody, when you take the money, when you oppress anybody in any way, they're gonna come, they will take that back from you. If it's not in this life, then in the hereafter. How can you pay back in the hereafter? It's gonna be through the good deeds. So you fast for 30 days, maybe you have to give them the reward of 2 or 3 days. And it's not gonna be only them. Especially if that's like a hobby for you, that day and night in the school, out of the school, with the circles, with the internet, You're talking about, you're just worried about others. And guess what? You're not going to be successful in life. You're just focused in her and him and what happened the other day in the other group. So again, we need to reshift and see the priorities of life. Yeah, what you can leave behind also, for those who have families, and even for those who are, inshallah, will have families in the future. Three things will be like an extension for life of the human being after his death. One of them is a ولد صالح علم ينتفع به, if you leave behind any knowledge that's beneficial for others. Any knowledge that could be beneficial for others. See, Islam highlights the status of knowledge. Whatever knowledge, contribution into knowledge that, because now we're studying some theories of people in the past. They put some effort to for you to develop and move on. They made life easier. All of that came as a theory of scholars, Thomas Edison or whoever did the computer, other things. So that makes life, you make life easier for others. That's one thing that could give you reward after death. A ولد صالح يدعو له, or a righteous child. You invest in your children, so that would be an extension for you. Not much participation from the audience today.
You wrote a really nice point. He said something. So I love this statement where he said, "This is NASA, the Akhlaq, what I said, the enlightenment." Like always, invest people with your money. But we do want in that state, we want to bring the sparkle of everything, like even, you are bringing a gift to the best, or even if you want to host a event, you want to make it shine in silverware, but you forgot the pearl of the gold and your akhlaq, your behavior. It's not one event for us, for instance, it's always you have to be like for you guys, always we have to give our arms like 3 weeks for the other day. We have to give you, like put a lot of nice people around us. So this is something, a value quite a bit, of human, either lift you up with your behavior or bring you down. So this is very, very nice that, he used even the word stuff. And Arabic is like
well, one good translation for it is, you cannot accommodate everybody. إنكم لن تسعوا الناس بأموالكم. You cannot accommodate everybody as far as your money. You can give gifts and be nice to others through your money financially, but that's not going to be sufficient for everybody. But you can accommodate everybody with your characteristics. Because if you're nice, you can be nice to millions of people. If that is your characteristic, like you be caring person, nice person, that can be done with tens of people every day, free, easy, nice.
And it doesn't cost you.
It doesn't cost you anything, and it gives you. Actually, it gives. It doesn't cost. It gives.
But you see, like the other side is almost like wasting training because you're going to the material more now. By this one, you're getting hasanat, getting hasanat. At the same time, you're really, like you're bringing a good things of Islam because this is the mirror of Islam, and that is absolutely what we have to get.
I throw one other thing your way to think of. Sometime, one of the things that naturally, instinctively, everybody counts on, thinks it's biggest asset, and it is life. But especially youth, young and full of energy, this and that. Obviously, for majority of you, you're not there yet. When you start hitting certain age, and you start, it's not like a 1 year or something. Then your memory is not as it was sharp before. Or more importantly, is how you look. Oh my God, I start, losing anything. I was not like this some years back, and now you're even growing. So you feel something aging, and that's why the baby boomers, they have, the crisis of middle age, and they start looking back for their life and personality. She's trying to be the same shiny, glamorous girl that she was back at this time, but now it's a different phase of life. It's not only that. So when you count on one element, any element other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be gone. It will be, that's one decision that Allah made. Nothing, everything will go. وَكُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everything on the face of earth, it should vanish and come to an end. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ. Only the face of your Lord, or only you're referring to the Lord, is remaining forever. So if you're counting on age, on youth or beauty or something, it's going to decrease. Money, you might lose it, or even the more you get of it, it might be a fitna or a test for you, and things like that. Even Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Sahaba, you can imagine that. That is the best human being ever in terms of akhlaq, behavior, characteristic, generosity. Somebody asked him one day for his clothes. I really like it. Can you give it to me? And he just asked permission to go and change the clothes and gave it to him. Another person, he saw camels and cattle between two valleys. And he said, you know what, oh Prophet, I like that. He said, you really like that? It's all yours. Take it. He was a non-believer. He said, no human being, regular human being can give that. You should be a prophet. Only a soul of a prophet can be that generous. And he accepted Islam. So that figure amongst Muslims, starting with them from day one, taking them through stages, making them human beings again, as Allah created them, bringing them from worshipping stones and counting on stones and killing their daughters and manipulating one another to be leaders for the world, to giving them back their life. That person is a human being, and his life has to come to an end, right? You can imagine the day he passed away. You can imagine how the city will be like, how the emotion of everybody like. Actually, in one narration of one of the Sahaba, one of his friends, he said, the Prophet ﷺ, when he entered Medina, it was Monday. And he said, I have never seen any Monday, any day like that. It was the most shiny, glamorous, joyful day when he first came in. And he passed away on Monday. And I have never seen any gloomy day. The day itself, it felt, days are the days, sun is the sun, but it's our feelings. So, but this is how they described it. They said we were exactly like animals, like sheep or something on a rainy day, very cold and rainy day. We didn't know what to do. Some of the Sahaba, they literally lost their mind. Umar got his sword and he said, anybody who says Prophet Muhammad is dead, I'm going to kill him. Don't say that. He should be just gone to meet with his Lord that he did before, and he should be coming back. Nobody should. He's not, he's getting wild, losing his. And then Allah revealed, Allah does not reveal the ayah. The ayah was there before. Abu Bakr just reminded them. He said, he recited to them the Quran, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ. Muhammad is, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is but a prophet. قَدْ خَلَتْ مِن قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. So many prophets came before him. Okay? أَفَإِن مَّاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقَلَبْتُمْ عَلَىٰ أَعْقَابِكُمْ. And then, if he dies or he is killed, you just retreat, you go back. So he was teaching. Then Abu Bakr, when he recited the ayah, Umar, he literally dropped his sword and he kneeled on his. Yeah, that's right. We should be dead now. So the point is, Allah is teaching the Ummah that do not count on anybody, even if he is the Prophet ﷺ. Do not count on anything, even if it's so life. Don't take it for granted. You see youth dying, leaving this life in the very time that life is opening up for them. But that's not something that's guaranteed. It's not to scare us or anything, but we really need to count on real things, like you are ziplining or something, and you are taking a safety line, but it's kind of a little thread or something. Yeah, that's my safety line. Let me stick. Or like the example in the Quran, that's my house. Yeah, house what? It's rainy. It's not going to protect you. So the question or the message that I'm really thinking of is to think, to count on real things and go for the original parts, if you like, not the aftermarket things that will look like the original, but it's actually fake. It's gonna just break down, in no time. Do you have anything to add? Or any question?
I myself, when you say, don't, we learned our attachments. It's like makeup for people, I have to attach myself to. And realize that today, I expected one person in particular to bring me happiness or patience and understanding. And that attachment I had was false, which in the end made me miserable. But having those attachments to people in itself hinders you, like it did for me. And I had to learn very hard that my attachment to that one person is not going to be eternal. And that in my lesson, that only I can bring myself closer to them. Only I can teach myself those things. Like my God, I've been waiting for you to come. I expect him to teach me more about Islam. I want him to teach me things, but I can teach myself those things. Having those expectations, attachments to somebody for happiness is wrong. And
That's right.
I learned very hard that only I can make myself closer to Allah. Only I can receive His word. Because in the end, when we die, it's only you. You are alone in the grave. Not with Him, not with your friends. Another attachment I have is with friends. I believe that my friends will help make me happy, or closer to Allah, or making better deeds, not necessarily. Because as soon as those friends decide to not be your friends, what you turn from those deeds, you turn from that same mind frame, that's how you know that those are false attachments.
That's right.
And I believe that the right attachments are very few. Very few of those attachments are eternal. Everything else is learned.
But then that's not to belittle the benefits of all of these circles. But if you have to make friends, make the attachment between you a real one. So if you get to know somebody, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ started this relationship between those different people who came from different cities. Why do you get to know each other and love for each other and care for each other for the sake of Allah? So if we build things right, that relation should be okay, more continuous. Believe it or not, even choosing a husband, or those who are, could be in this process, or a spouse, choosing a spouse. If you choose somebody, there is nothing wrong in beauty, for example. That's what the Prophet said. Don't advice is mainly for the men. A woman could be, people are interested in her for marriage. For what? Usually, just giving a survey for her money. She's, what to do. Beauty is one of them. What kind of family lineage she's from, and what else? Walidiniha, and how good of a person, religious person, which refers to how good from inside this person is attached with Allah. And then he said that's what everybody is looking at. Then he said, "Fadfar, win the one with the deen, that otherwise you'll be losing." You count on beauty. It's good. It's good. If you have one with all of these characteristics, that's a deal. I mean, but if you just right, I don't want to say like what one of the, I learned that from one of the shuyukh, one of the teachers. He said, if anybody one with those four, give me your number. So yes, it's good. But if you're just counting on her, oh, we love. Actually, this is not love. What all of these romance and romantic songs and poetry, and this is the real word for it is attraction. Because if it's real love, many of these people, they get married. And what happened? They separate. Many of them separate. So it was not built on real things in there. But if you get to know somebody on the right ground, don't build your house on the cliff. Yes, it will look nice, it looks nice, the stream is down there, or I see it, but it's not the right place or the right ground to ground, to put your house, or even to stay there. So yes, don't count much on people, because people, they will be gone, they might turn away from you. Yeah, don't even, I give you one extra thing. We might count on ourselves. It's me. How much intelligence that I get, it's because of me. No, we need to humble ourselves. Whatever I get is good, and I be proud. It doesn't have anything to do with confidence, self-confidence. Yes, you be confident, but do not just count on that. Because even your mind, your views and opinion, they change. The way you look at life, that changes. You change.
Take it away from you. If you don't listen. I know what farming, she's the most beautiful. It's like telephone, it's like really like beauty, one day she just didn't show up in college. And after a whole semester, she came back. And if you see her, you'll be blind. Half of her face is bronze and half, so if she's looking at me this way, and it's the same way as if you look the other way. I mean, right away, you'll be like really scared. And she said that if she was arriving home at the end of the school time, and then truck came and hit her car. She stayed in the car for a while, and she realized half of her face.
Okay.
So subhanAllah, I mean, we can guarantee that this is like I say, oh, I'm beautiful. This is not you created yourself. God created you. God could, in any event, could take your beauty, your mind, your family, your wealth. The only thing stays is your
Exactly, and Allah, because Allah's life, no beginning, no end, no decrease. He's the only one that can do whatever you want. If you have to build relationships and things, build it on what He tells you is the right place and the right way to build it. Yes.
How we were fighting, it's so difficult to go back and sometimes have to about these Sahabis and what's his name, but they were fighting and one of the people were telling him, this line and was having a date and between crossing this line and this line, you're going to be fine. So for him, having the day, he threw it and said, Allah Akbar. I mean, that's what I know. So for us, really, we have to be always, not to go to the material truth, like the day is being like a sign and take it as the material one. He wants to be with, he's going to be counted for the state for his benefit. So, bottom line is your when the Quran is sent it was like ayah by ayah. And subhanAllah, like we can think of like how these people are so strong. No, but they were living in a specific time where they feel like they studied one ayah and they implemented, they stayed for a while. For us, for reading the Quran, a whole surah, and we go and implement with ourselves, with our family, with our kids, to each other. I mean, reading the Quran every bit of this has so much value that we don't really.
So let's inshallah replace the spiral web that we might have in our life and maybe take it one by one line and replace it with a real house in life or what this may carry. And there's another actually scientific, I didn't check the authenticity of it, I just got it from a sheikh. Obviously a sheikh is not an authentic source for a scientific fact, but that's what he says. A scientific a kind of miracle in this ayah, because Allah said, كَمَثَلِ الْعَنْكَبُوتِ, the example of somebody taking protection in others besides Allah, just like al-ankabut, the spider, اتَّخَذَتْ, with the T sound, bayta in the verb. That makes the verb what? When you say اتَّخَذَ بَيْتًا versus اتَّخَذَتْ بَيْتًا. اتَّخَذَتْ for a female, اتَّخَذَ for a male, اتَّخَذَتْ for a female. Why would he say the spider when in Arabic the female spider took a house? And then he said, he was referring to, huh? Yeah, he said, according to what I'm just quoting him, it is the female that builds the house, that makes those lines, and then she tries to attract a mate or a male for that, and then after mating, she eats him. I was not willing to say that because I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Okay. And also he was referring to something else. He said he is giving, obviously the weakness of the house of al-ankabut, of the spider, is what is it doesn't protect, it's just a net. But another dimension of it is that the meaning of the house, the family itself, what kind of relationship is there, what kind of a female that eats, literally eats the male. That's a very weak relationship. I mean, it's a relationship. You look at the pride, the lion pride or something. Everybody has something. The lionesses will hunt, the lion will protect, and things like that. So this is a strong family. Could be an example for something. It's not mentioned in the Quran, but Allah said, if this is the weakest of all houses in terms of the physical structure of it and also the moral structure. She builds the house, attracts the male, and just eats him.
Even if it's like a wicked structure, or you get like bugs being stuck in it, that's like you don't have to you get stuck on so many different things, and you like get like stuck into them, brought into them, and flimsy, like it doesn't matter, still you're lost in it, you're just stuck in it, even though it's very confusing.
Very good dimension. So it's, if you're stuck in the house of Al-Ankabut, it's not easy to get out, even though it's so weak, but you get stuck.
It has to have a like that.
Minaret.
Get close to so much like banana. That it has to be.
So we might get stuck into our egos, for example. We might get stuck into whatever. You see that in the Gulf, for example, it really depends what family you are from. It was tribal thing before, still there. Here is not a big deal. I mean, but there, in this part of the world, he is Qahtani. Wow, that's not good. What kind of family are you talking about? Here is probably the capitalist society, how much money you got, how much. In other places, whatever it could be. So really, people got a lot of quagmires and spider nets to get stuck into. So yeah. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. Do you have a topic in mind for next time?